Good afternoon. Welcome to Grand Blanc Township Board Meeting for Friday, December 19th. If we could all rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Robertson, will you please call the roll?
I would be happy to call the roll, Mr. Supervisor. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here, of course. Treasurer Yancho?
Here.
Trustee Fike?
Here.
Trustee Hugo and Brown are absent. Trustee White?
Here.
5 members present, a quorum.
Thank you, and I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
Make a motion?
Supported by Mr. White.
Motion by Fike, supported by White on the agenda. Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Myself, yes. 5-0, motion passes.
Thank you. And now we will move to public comments. Clerk Robertson?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I want to make mention of the fact that my office is in receipt of an email from a Grand Blanc Township resident, Carrie Fitz, and the email is, I'm acknowledging the receiving of the email in our record. I have distributed a copy of the email to the board members, and I will make note of the email in my minutes in a general sense, as is my customary, it's customary for me to do for the public. But we will not be reading it into the record, but it is available, and you should have it in front of you. And so I just want to make note of that.
Thank you. And do we have anybody who wants to make public comment? Okay. Did you have the form filled out, sir? Did you have that form, or? Okay. Come on up, and you can just hand it to me and turn it in. Good afternoon. Always glad to see a fellow Spartan here.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Duhan.
Yes, so my questions are about the business license that has come about. And in the informal conversation plus calling up here, I understand a lot of it has to do with the fact of you want people's information so you know how to get a hold of them, because the Cinnamon thing and all that. Understand that completely. My issue with it is this. It's the $60 fee, okay? Fortunately, I'm not one of them. There are many businesses struggling in Grand Blanc Township. And to me, because they have other expenses for supplies, labor that they cannot avoid. To me, this is just kind of piling on to that. And I understand you will have some cost getting this data information for the information to put into it. But a $60 fee every year for this? How much revenue is this bringing into Grand Blanc Township every year? This $60 fee for all these businesses? And what is that money going to be used for?
Well, go ahead and make your statement, and then
Yeah, so what's that money going to be used for? And even some of the information, I understand you want the information where we live, emails and things like this, and I look at the information you want. Why does my driver's license even need to be included in that? I think that's kind of private information that I think is unnecessary, because you're going to have my email, my home address, home phone, whatever to contact me. So why is a driver's license also have to be included in that? What benefit is that? You've got a way to contact me. So that's basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Or?
No.
Okay. Possibly later in the meeting, we'll address some of those concerns. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else wish to make public comment? Okay, seeing no further public comment, we'll bring it back to the board. And just for the public's sake, when we get public comment, we have an agenda made up in advance, and, given the number of public comments we get sometimes, we
We can't change our agenda, but we will try to address many of the comments, and we'll try and do that at some point in the meeting. Okay? With that, we will move to the next portion of our agenda, and we've got some recognition.
Do we?
Mr. Lemata? Is there
I'm sorry.
something on the agenda for recognition?
Yeah, and what I really want to do is just have the board recognize that Amber Kosha will be leaving. This is the last time that you'll see her at this meeting. So she is going to be moving on to another position, and I just want you to have that opportunity to know that as our accounts payable person, she will be sorely missed, and we wish her nothing but the best of luck in the future.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Amber.
Thank you very much. I didn't know you were going, but.
Thank you for your service to the township.
Yes.
All righty.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Mr.
Motion by
Yancho,
Yancho,
supported by Trustee Fike.
supported by Fike on consent. Trustee White,
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho,
Yes.
Trustee Fike,
Yes.
myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett,
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Under new business, item A, the board will consider a motion to approve the 2026 Department of Public Works budget. Everybody should have received a copy at the last meeting for that. We have Mr. Cooley, our Director of Public Works, with us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We spoke at the last meeting on our DPW budget and a few of the items that we had earmarked for our capital improvement, replacing a few trucks and mainly the water and sewer for Tech Village, those type of items. And then I'm here if you have any questions on the packet.
I just wanted to remind people that, a lot of this, everything looked good to me, but a lot of that kind of information doesn't impact them, but the water and the sewer does impact people, that it will increase by what you've got in here, $3 or 3% for the water and 8% for the sewer, and that, can you explain that a little bit? Are we making any extra money, or is that a pass-through for what's going on?
Those are just minimal increases that we need to continue the service, the level of service that we provide. The water, because of everything that's going on, we kept that as low as we possibly could. And then the sewer, as I explained before, the increase on the sewer is a little bit higher, mainly because of so much capital improvement with the KCI and those different items. Adding that big interceptor at the south end for any type of growth and for our, for our capacity down there is pretty costly, and that's the reason for the 8% on the sewer side.
We'll also reduce basement flooding, septic, the backup of sanitary into basements in the northwest corner of the township as well.
Correct.
Is a motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
Just a moment. If you could, also, that budget is a closed system, as you mentioned. I think that's what you're alluding to, Mr. Fike, that the township can't take money out of that for funding our operations. The water and sewer money stays within the water and sewer fund, but that project is going to benefit, the KCI will benefit the entire township.
Correct.
With relieving pressure off. Basically, we have a sewer line that cuts across the township from the southeast all the way to the northwest. And so it'll take pressure off of that line so that unfortunately, we have a number of people that are connected illegally to the sanitary sewer with their sump pumps, and when we have a large rain event, causes that to fill the capacity and end up backing up. So, in some regards, it will benefit everybody to have that fixed. The cost with water and sewer, everybody thinks, hey, we're surrounded by the Great Lakes, water should be free. The problem is the cost of energy for moving that water. The other thing is the cost of chemicals for that water have also dramatically increased. And the employees that have work to do on those systems, there's increases with healthcare and what have you there too. So unfortunately, while we're surrounded by the Great Lakes, water isn't free even here, so.
Yeah, and we have to make sure we keep up the maintenance on all the infrastructure so that we don't have any major issues down the road with different items, and these minimal increases keep our staff out there working and maintaining the system so that we don't run into those large major problems in the future.
Yeah, well, we've seen a few of them, say in Macomb County, a huge sewer issue when
Correct.
things weren't kept up on, and we've seen increases in other part of the state where the increases hit triple digits because they held off for so long making any increases that they get behind the 8 ball, and then the increases have to be significant, or even more significant. So,
Is the motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
Mr. White?
I just have a question. It's numbered page 5 of 12 on the bottom, if anyone wants to look at it. Why was the meter sewer usage fee so much higher than anticipated? It was over $600,000 higher in the amended budget than the original.
What page?
I couldn't.
It says 5 of 12 on the bottom.
All right. Oh,
I'm sorry, I couldn't fully hear the question.
And if you have it in front of you, it's the DPW, 592 DPW, Department of Public Works, and then the sewer revenue, sewer usage fees. That was a significant increase in the amended budget. What was why? I guess why, when I see numbers that are largely different, significantly different, do you have any explanation why?
On page 5.
What page number was that?
On the printed one, it says 5 of 12 on the bottom. I don't.
And what's the line item, Mr. White, again?
It's the first line.
Oh, the first line, metered sewer usage fees.
Yes.
I think it's projected to actually be less than,
Am I reading this backwards?
yeah, because the amended budget and then what he had projected was going to be less because the activity through, I'm not sure when you pulled this, Director Cooley, the metered usage, the activity was 1.9, and the budget had been at 2.5, and then it was projected at 2. So I think what he's trying to project is going to come in closer to 2 million rather than 2.6, what had initially been put out there.
All right.
So basically, the metered sewer usage fees, if I'm correct, is we have various locations to have metered sewer. Is that what this is, or?
Yeah, so anytime you, it's based off of your water meter. So most of the commercial accounts and anybody that has water and sewer, that's what's billed through Genesee County is the metered sewer. And so that amended budget, we just projected that there would be more metered sewage uses than what actually happened that year.
That metered sewer usage also can be affected by rain events.
Yes.
In that, if we have some huge rain events, actually the metered sewer can get inundated infiltrated with rainwater and cause that number to jump up significantly as well, but.
And most of this comes through, like I say, it's based off of what we're billing through the water meter. So our projected usage was down this year from what we had thought it would be.
Okay. All right, any other questions or concerns? A motion is in order.
All right, I will make the motion on item 8A to support.
All right, support by Treasurer Yancho.
Motion by Robertson, supported by Yancho. Okay, Trustee Fike.
yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Cooley. Item B, the board will consider a motion to approve $13,196 invoice from Firehouse Beds to furnish 6 bunk rooms at the new fire station number 1 and authorize the township superintendent to execute all related documents. We have Chief Gent. Good morning, or good afternoon.
Morning. Yes, this invoice will purchase the 6 bunk room furniture, all the necessary equipment that will be used to furnish those bedrooms at the new Fire Station 1.
Okay. I'm just curious, is there any uniqueness to this furniture for a firehouse or not?
No, that's just standard bedroom furniture. The previous Chief Burdette, researched the vendor, and it just happened to be firehouse beds.
All right. Very good. Any questions? Okay, motion by trustee Fike,
Motion by Fike,
supported by trustee White.
supported by White on item 8B. Trustee White.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
5-0. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item C, the board will consider a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the Grand Blanc Township and the Police Officers Association of Michigan, POAM, Patrol Officers and Dispatchers for the years 2026 through 2028, and authorize supervisor and clerk to execute the agreement. Mr. Lemata?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The next, actually, 3 agenda items, I'm happy to report, are coming to you with all ratified agreements from our 3 police department units. The first one before you is the Patrol and Dispatchers with Police Officers Association of Michigan. We started negotiations on the POAM contract back about 4 months ago or so, maybe 5, at least 4 months ago. Again, I'd just like to shout out to our patrol officers, their negotiating team, our employees. They all come, we're all working towards a common goal here. And really, you guys are well aware of the fact that it's been worse since COVID, but how tough it is for us to attract and retain the best talent when it comes to our first responders, both in police and fire. This contract is, again, 3 years, typical for what we've seen in the past. Wasn't really contentious. Wages were always a big issue, as you would expect they should be. But we do a wage and salary survey, benefit survey, so that we can make sure that we're staying up with what the market is. We went in there as a target, for example, knowing that we needed to get to where the market had moved in the 3 years since we last negotiated a contract. And we went in with the idea that 15% was our target. We settled at 17%, but the proposal that we accepted from these guys allowed us to roll it out a little bit differently so that those increases aren't just going in on July 1st. They'll go in on January 1st, for 2026, but then in 2027 and at 2028, we'll move it partially up for January 1 and July 1, January 1 and July 1 again in 2028. That helps us slow roll us out a little bit, so less of a financial impact than doing it all on January 1st. But we end up at a number that puts us firmly into where the salary survey indicates that we should be to, again, attract and retain the best talent. Some of the salary survey did show that there were departments that paid more than us. But when you really researched the benefits package and looked whether they were using a hard cap on the healthcare insurance or not, or whether doing 80-20 like we were, I'm very pleased with the package that we put together. Another big change for the contracts, and all 3 of them, was the Earned Sick Time Act, which went into effect in 2025, had to be accounted for in these contracts. That did not result in the granting of any additional hours. The hours that we already gave for the paid time off were allowable within the ESTA Act itself, but it did have us change some language in how those would be used in the contract. So if you look through the tentative agreement that I'd sent out, you'd see that it had their package of of time off has changed to reflect the fact that it's personal/ESTA sick time. What the Earned Sick Time Act really does is for 5 specific reasons, employees can use that earned sick time allowance, which is much more liberal use than what would have been allowed with sick time in the past. All of the language changes that we propose that were accepted do fully comply with the Earned Sick Time Act. Again, we didn't really add any additional time, but it does change in the contract and with administration on how they can comply with that. It does put the onus more on employees who now need to make sure that they reflect their time if they're taking an ESTA day, that box is checked versus a personal day. But one of the things that, the biggest concern from an administrative standpoint on the ESTA Act is you heard a lot about a no-call, no-show would be allowed. You couldn't, harm somebody from a disciplinary action because they used ESTA time, because they can take that day to care for a sick loved one, a child, a parent. They can take it for a mental health day. There's reasons that, previously wouldn't have applied. But we do have some provisions in there that they would still want to report that time at the earliest possible convenience. That is a language that's applicable with the Earned Sick Time Act. So we feel very happy about that. And finally, one of the other changes, court time was addressed in here, where court time was 3 hours local court, 4 hours circuit court. And it was listed in here as straight time for those times. The sergeant's agreement 3 years ago, we changed it so that it's just 4 hours of court time when they call. Usually if you go to court time, where this would come into play is if it's on one of your days off and you're called into court. If it's on a day that you're working, then obviously you don't get paid court time because you're already getting paid. You just go to court. But if you're a day off and you're required to go into court, you get, it's considered hours worked, and we've made it all standard as 4 hours instead of 3 hours for local court, 4 hours for circuit court. It's just a standard 4 hours of court time that they receive for when they go. And then, obviously, other than the wage adjustments, a lot of it was just language cleanup. You'll see in the language cleanup, and then another one that was a big request because back 20 years ago, in a arbitration, the union had lost the ability to include their dependent children when they retired. So as these guys just started to retire, the ones who had been impacted by that, and it was a higher date, they realized that when they had won an arbitration, they'd also lost the ability to include dependent children. It was one of the things that they wanted to negotiate in. We came up with a way to do that is cost neutral to the township, but could still result in a potential opportunity for retirees to cover their children, where they 100% pay the difference between a single or dual versus a family. And then they also, because we use the high deductible plan with the health savings account where the township funds that, we have a 58% standard is kind of our average usage. So we have them paying 60% of that along with the premium difference. So that makes it cost neutral for the township for them to be able to include their dependents moving forward. And it would only apply, obviously, for this contract to those who retire after January 1st of 2026.
Okay. Very good. Any questions or concerns? So that negotiation took a little while to get done, but
I will tell you that this one took quite a while, but we had a changing of the guard with the POAM. Wayne Bierbauer has been the business agent for I don't know how many years, but like a couple decades worth, has been representing our membership. And we've had Officer Tom Witt, Officer Dave Clark, have been a couple of the chief negotiators. Tom Witt, I think, has been doing it for 22 years. I will say in my experience of doing this, Officer Witt has always come to us at the table with honesty, integrity, with the idea that we're working towards a common goal. I couldn't say enough about working with Tom, and it was his time to step down. We have a new group coming in, so we had Wayne Bierbauer, who did the initial negotiations. We had a tentative agreement on the table. It went to a vote, and the membership voted it down. In the meantime, Wayne stepped back, and they brought in the new business agent, Greg Augie. Another, very respectful, came in, but, kind of that change where he wasn't there for the negotiations, but now he came at a time when we had to close it out. We did use the services of a mediator to kind of help find common ground. And in the end, they brought it back out for a vote. I got the email, I think, on Saturday that a positive vote. We'd already TA'd with the sergeants. They took their vote on Wednesday, and we got a vote there. And then also on Wednesday, we met with Executive Command, TA'd the agreement, and got the vote on Wednesday night. So all three of them wrapped up between Friday and Wednesday of this week.
Very good. Okay.
Is the motion in order, Mr. Supervisor? On item 8C, I will make that motion.
Okay.
Support.
Support by Treasurer Yancho.
Support by Yancho. Very good. Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
5-0. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
One thing I would like to add is the new business agent for POAM did make a request. It wasn't contingent upon approval of any of this. It's just that as we work through trying to get reimbursements from the amounts of funds that we had to expend due to the tragic incident of September 28th of this year, that if there were money available, if the board would at least be receptive to considering a signing bonus, kind of a thing that would be only if the funds were made available, if we could identify funds that would work. And it really, the conversation came about while we were in negotiations and right after obviously the tragic event that occurred. And I think in retrospective had a few of the officers thinking about what it is they do for a living and that outcome. And so I told the business agent that I would bring that to the board. I'm not asking you to take a vote or take any action because we don't have the funds identified at this time. But as we continue to work through federal and state resources, we've expended about $128,000 that over and above our normal costs to deal with the incident of September 28th. And as we continue to look for funds to help us pay for that, if funds are identified and become available, I would bring that back to the board for consideration.
Okay, thank you.
On item 8D, is a motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
With regard to the collective bargaining agreement between
Yes.
Grand Lake Township and the POLC for the sergeants? Yes.
Okay. I will make that motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Support.
Support by Treasurer Yancho.
Supported by Yancho. Very good. All right. Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
5-0. Motion passes.
Item E, the board will consider a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the Grand Lake Township and the Fraternal Order of Police, FOP, Executive Command Unit for the years 2026 through 2028, and authorize supervisor and clerk to execute the agreement. Mr. Limita?
Again, this is the one that we just wrapped up, and this is your executive command. This includes a captain and 2 lieutenants. One thing that I'd like to point out to you guys in this one is that one of the things that has been going on for a couple of decades with our police department is they have patrol. Then the sergeants typically negotiate their wages at 10% above patrol, and then command staff would negotiate 5% above the sergeants. Seems like a great theory, other than it doesn't take into account market wages. And when we did our salary survey, as did their business agent this year, we came in and we were considerably off what market wages were for our command staff. And because we had been following that same scenario where they just wanted to be 5% above sergeants who were 10% above patrol. And again, like I said, wages changed drastically after COVID as well. But we did our salary survey and we were considerably off. In fact, I would tell you that our lieutenant pay topped out at $43.06 per hour. And the average of our comparable units was $51.81. Wow. By following that, we had allowed the market wages. And again, yes, it only impacts 2 lieutenants and a captain, but we also still need to be competitive for retention purposes. These are some of our seasoned officers. By the time they earn that ability to be up in that administrative and command staff, we don't necessarily want them walking out the door. In fact, we'd like to hang on to them even if they do hit their full retirement age and have maxed out kind of their pension and their retiree health care, because it's one thing for the guys that are serving now, but the guys who are going to continue to come up will no longer be sticking around because of the defined benefit pension plan or because of the retiree health care. Anybody hired after 2017 is on the different healthcare plan where we don't offer retiree healthcare. We have the healthcare savings plan account, which is portable and they can walk away with. Same thing now, they're on a defined contribution plan. So looking towards the future, we absolutely need to stay competitive with wages. I made the recommendation that we move away from that idea of being a percent above, that we really just take a look and continue to do salary surveys and remain competitive in the market. But we were able to settle the contract. There was a significant increase, and it was sorely needed based upon the data that we had pulled. Again, we also addressed the ESTA language here, as well as the dependent care coverage. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Questions, concerns?
Is a motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
It is.
Then I will make the motion on item 8E,
I'll support it.
supported by Bennett. Very good. Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item F, the board will consider a motion to amend the 2025 Department of Public Works budget to receive bond proceeds, revenue of $11,000,098 to cover the 2025 construction expenditures of the new DPW facility for $11,000,098, and authorize Township Superintendent to transfer the funds.
Director Cooley had to leave for another meeting, but I just want to point out that one of the things in his 2025 budget, that while we had worked it into the capital plan for the new facility, he didn't have the transfer of those bond proceeds into his water and sewer revenues, as well as having the expenses taken out. And again, by law, you have to pass an appropriations act for the general fund and special revenue funds budget. There is no requirement in law that you even do a motion to pass the Public Works budget, but I've always done that because I feel like we should be as transparent as possible. It also makes us take ownership of it. And so that's why we do it. This isn't necessarily a requirement because you're not required to pass it, but again, for tracking purposes so that we can do that amendment, so we go back and look at the budget in future years, we can see that we did it appropriately. So what this does is it takes $11 million out of the bond proceeds that were in the capital funds budget for the DPW and moves it in so that we can account for the $11 million that will be paid in 2025 for the DPW share of the new facility.
Is a motion in order, Mr. Supervisor? Okay, then I will make the motion on item 8F.
Okay.
Support.
Support by Treasurer Yancho.
Okay. Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Myself, yes. 5-0, motion passes.
Item G, the board will consider a motion to approve an updated employment agreement between the township and Police Chief Rennie. Mr. Lemina?
So Chief Rennie is here, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. But he is completing his initial employment agreement between the township and himself for his position as our chief of police. I sat down with Chief a few weeks ago, and we kind of hammered out the details here that were included in the packet that you received that show the changes that we're recommending to his agreement, including the addition of the ESTA personal time noted in there. The only other than a salary increase, was the retiree health care, the requirement, again, 50 years of age and 25 years of actual service for retiree health care. And we did put something in here that we'd like the board to consider, is that 50-year age requirement would be waived if the chief's employment was terminated without cause during this agreement term. What that means is that, I don't want to violate any HIPAA rules here about how old Chief Rennie is, but let's just say that he's close to that age requirement and his 25 years will be in a month or two. And just with a political climate, if there were any reason that he was just for the at-will clause, that the board decided to trigger it at any time in the next 2 years, that he would still be eligible for his retiree health care. Now, if he was terminated for cause, then that provision would not apply, and he would not be eligible for his retiree health care. Or if he just quits on us.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Fike,
Motion by Fike,
support by Mr. White.
supported by White on 8G. Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay.
Congratulations, Chief.
Yeah. And we appreciate,
Youngster.
yes,
Okay.
appreciate your work.
H.
The board will consider a motion to approve Resolution 25-43 to amend the 2025 Special Revenue Funds budget.
So the good news with this resolution that's coming before you is it's coming before you because we are ahead of schedule on our new fire department facility, which is really awesome because it could have been completed anytime between April and May of 2026. Instead, we believe that we will be doing the punch list on the interior in early February, that there's the ability that the furniture will be in place mid-February, and we will start that moving in process much sooner than we had anticipated. Of course, what that also means is that when the bond proceeds came in and what I had projected for which percentage of the fire department building would be completed through December 31st of 2025, because we're ahead of schedule, I feel like I'm close, but I could be a little bit short. So what this does is it's asking you to consider moving $500,000 from the bond proceeds over into, so that we can make sure that there's enough money in our capital projects or campus projects fund to pay for what I anticipate the invoices will be coming through what actual work is completed by 12/31. So while we were pretty close, and we may be there, I would rather have the cushion so we don't go over having our expenses exceed what we had planned in our revenues. So this is more of a safety factor of giving me the cushion of $500,000 for whatever those invoices. And I did have Frank Rewald give me the estimate of where they think their invoice will be. They'll actually know it next week, but where their invoice would be for December. And I feel like this makes sure that we will cover the work that was completed without exceeding the funds that I had in the budget for it.
Is the motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
Hold on just a moment.
I just have
Mr. White?
on us coming in ahead of schedule, will that ultimately reduce the construction costs at all? Or not really?
It actually can, because a lot of what we had factored in there from a contingency had to do with what weather we ran into and things like that. And then through last winter, we were able to complete work that we weren't sure was going to be iffy. And of course, every day that they had to have heated areas and that kind of thing to keep the ground from freezing and being able to pour concrete footings, those kind of things, saved us money because we had to pay for that additional. So we saved quite a bit of money, and to date, as we've been going through this, having about 2.5% contingency built in to the project, we really haven't touched our contingency. We've been working with the allowances that the board had already approved for us. I think we've only had one area where we went into the contingency at all. So we are ahead of schedule and below budget.
Is the motion in order, Mr. Studo?
Yes, it is.
All right, I'll make the motion on item 8H.
I'll second.
Okay, support by trustee Fike.
Okay, Supervisor Bennett,
Yes.
Trustee Fike,
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee White.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay. Just wanted to go through future agenda items. Mr. Lehman, anything on the agenda? We're going to be looking, I know at the beginning of January, we're going to be doing a review with our strategic plan with Lou Bender and doing a workshop with our board. So that'll probably be one of the first things I would guess that we're going to cover under future agenda.
Yeah, I think, our next meeting will be on January 6th, so kind of recovering from the holidays. And then January 7th, Dr. Bender will be here working with, like I said, the administrative staff, and then with a board work session on strategic planning built in. Obviously, our conversations continue as we work through with Fire Chief Gent and members of the department on strategic planning there as well. I think there'll be with the board officers, the committee reporting back to the full board on some of the progress that we've made there, as well as just following the rest of our strategic agenda.
Yeah, okay. Mr. White, anything on ZBA? Mr. Fike, anything with regard to Metro Alliance? Mr. Yancho, anything with the Treasurer's Department?
We're continuing to receive winter tax money in, but I would like to ask that we maybe address some of the public comments that the gentleman made regarding, I know the clerk's department has received a number of communications regarding that issue.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Mr. Lehman to comment when we get to him.
I have nothing to report from the clerk's office, Mr. Supervisor. All is well.
Okay. Just a couple of notes with regard to, and we've had several meetings now with the fire department, with Chief Gent, and a number of his personnel, with Deputy Chief Miracle this past Friday, I think it was. We're going to be meeting again on Monday. And I think our goal is to work on, as I mentioned before, some short-term plans, some things we want to do in the very short term, and some things that we are going to take some heavy lifting to look at further out. I know we had talked about millages, grants, whatever, all those things are in there to look at more closely. The only thing I ask is that we let the process work. I know we're getting calls from media wanting to know, hey, what have we done? What have we done? We're moving forward together, and that's what I'm hoping that we communicate, that we're doing that. One of the things that I also wanted to bring up, the Victim Assistance Fund, we've been meeting to distribute some of that money and helping a lot of victims, and so that's something that good has been happening in the community. Mr. Lehman, do you want to comment a little bit about the questions with regard to business licensing? A letter went out, and basically we, a couple of years ago, were looking at several different things, I think, that helped, that evolved. We were looking at whether we do inspections of buildings, what have you. there's really no central location for information on a lot of the businesses that we have here in the township. You know, we've had a few businesses, and I think probably our police chief and probably our fire department chief, John, probably can tell you that we end up going to facilities, you know, middle of the night that we don't know. How do we get a hold of the owner to board up the door, or that there's any other issue, you know, going on, alarms going off, and maybe person's not responding to the alarm company. And really, you know, also the change of use probably is another big one. We've had facilities that have gone from being a retail shop to being a hair salon, let's say, where the water usage and the REUs, or residential equivalent units, change, and we're not aware of that, which is a huge issue. But maybe you can comment some more on that, Dennis.
Yeah, the business licensing program, you know, isn't designed to be punitive to business in any way, but it's really a tool that, for the township, and again, this came about from the 2021 to 2024 strategic plan, and working through that from a purpose of how does it serve the community for us to do this? And also, like, when the cost was associated with it, and again, not unique to Grand Blanc Township, Matt Kimmer, Assistant Superintendent Matt Kimmer, had this project up and really looked into it. Grand Blanc Township had a business licensing requirement until sometime in the early 2000s, first decade of the 2000s. Where they ended it, and the clerk's office was responsible back then and just didn't want to have to handle with the paperwork anymore. So we tried to create something that would actually serve the purpose of what it was designed to do. And primarily, we don't have any effective way of knowing which businesses are operating in Grand Blanc Township. And you're right, a change of use is a big deal, and I can give you some examples where we have had change of use where it was like a retail outlet that turned into a barbershop or beauty salon. Well, that's clearly a pretty large change of use. It changes the REUs that the county, you know, resident equivalency units that the county water you know, develops, and they're the ones who set the REUs, and that requires that business pay accordingly on what that change of use is. So when we've had some instances where somebody came in, moved in, by the time we discovered that the business had completely changed use, the county is, you know, asking us to revoke the certificate of occupancy because they haven't been paid yet, and then we're required to then go after to try to collect for both the county's REUs and our REUs. That they have to pay because it is a big change of use. There's also been instances where a business can get broken into in the middle of the night, and our officers go there. If the door has been a smash and grab and the door is smashed open, we don't have any way of knowing who the contact point is for that business at that point. So what do? We're not going to have an officer sit there for the remainder of the night and guard that broken door. If we don't have the ability to contact somebody, then that business is going to be left unprotected for the remainder of the night as well. I can give you a great incident from a previous community that I worked in where we had a business change out that we thought that they were mostly dealing in fabric. And we had a fire in that business, and when our firefighters got there, the business had changed to where they were actually working on small engines, motorcycles, and had like 55-gallon drums of explosive materials, and had boarded up doors. So from what we thought we were walking into, instead we were walking into something that was explosive, a tinder box, and the door didn't exist anymore that we thought was going to be there when we got there. Those are just some of the things that you highlight, that if we're doing our routine inspections and we have business licenses, we know who comes and goes. It would be great if the landlords who lease these businesses out would let us know, or let the people know that they should at least come in and talk to us when that happens, so that we can make sure that it's compliant with zoning rules things like that. I'd much rather be able to share that information with them up front than to have somebody go in and invest and think they can go in and do something and then find out that it's not even an allowable business in that area because they've signed a lease with a landlord that then we come in as the bad guy and we won't give them a certificate of occupancy or we shut them down after they've expended a lot of money. So there's a lot of reasons why. Another one can be just the ability to contact somebody. If we change, if the planning commission makes a recommendation, the board adopts changes to signage ordinance and things like that, where we can now get that information out to business owners to let them know, those flag signs that we don't allow in the township. Being able to share information like that with somebody before they spend $500 on buying 4 of these signs to announce sale or whatever they want to do. It's a lot better if we tell them in advance because I know how angry they are when we show up and code enforcement pulls them out of the ground and lets them know that their $2,000 investment can't be used here in Grand Blanc Township because it's a violation of our sign ordinance. So that's kind of how we approached it and went into this, like being able to have that ability to communicate with all of the business owners and keep them informed when changes were coming up, and us being able to have the ability to make sure that they're licensed, that there is no violations of zoning, that they're not going to get surprises in the end, and we can contact them. The amount that was settled on is really based on not quite a cost recovery. We wanted it to be cost neutral to roll this program out. So, and it's not cost neutral at the dollar amount that we had settled on. It really is designed to be cost neutral, but I think it ends up that it's not exactly cost neutral for us.
Mr. Fike?
One of the things Mr. Duhan mentioned was that required their driver's license be submitted. Is that so that you can identify the person?
I think, and I wasn't privy to as they developed that form, and our form is developed on not only through our software that we purchased for the business licensing program, but also being derived from a review of multiple other municipalities and their business licensing program. So is it an important requirement? That's a great question. I'll be happy to follow up and ask Matt. Maybe it's something that that we don't need to have from a driver's license standpoint. I don't know why it's on there. As long as we have the name, the contact information, that kind of thing, I think that's the important information. I don't know why there would be a driver's license requirement. We're not going to run driver's licenses to verify that's the person or anything. So I think that's probably something that could be changed on that form.
I think, the communication with our business owners is the bottom line, that we want to try and improve that, and this definitely will help us do that.
I will say that when we rolled out this program in a prior municipality and we ended up, and we heard about it, I assure you. In fact, I had quite a lengthy conversation with a business owner yesterday, and I know that the gentleman wasn't happy, with the conversation. But we kind of got the same thing in a prior community that I was in. Then afterwards, they ended up forming their business association. Based on that, we had their business association linked to our website. They created a website and linked it back to ours, and then we were able to promote them as a business association to remember to shop locally, keep your money in the township, and it ended up being where we attended their meetings, they attended ours, and it created a great synergy opportunity to where before we started making decisions as a township that impacted local businesses, we were able to then have great points of contact and bring them in and say, this is being proposed. What do you guys think about this? What are the pros and cons? How would this impact your business? And it ended up turning out to be that we ended up with a really good relationship that started rocky, kind of like, boy, why are you guys want to hit me again with another tax? And we have to be really cognizant of that fact. Business is tough and small business is tough, and we got to make sure that we're not just ended up putting a burden on so that they can have a piece of paper on the wall that says they're licensed here. There has to be value provided, and I think that's a challenge for us as a township. If we're not providing the value, then we're going to hear about it.
I agree. Okay, anything else, Mr. Lehman? Mr. Chubb?
I
Hold on.
I don't have anything this afternoon. Happy holidays.
Into you.
Is a motion to adjourn in order, Mr. Supervisor?
Just a moment. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever it is you celebrate with your family and your loved ones. We wish you a great, happy season here coming up over the next couple of weeks, and a happy New Year. And with that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
By Bennett, supported by Robertson. We are adjourned at 12:55 PM.